Hello guys, and welcome to the first video of my sort of tier list series. I plan on making more of these, but this is just the first one. Now, my channel actually started with me playing Doki Doki Literature Club, and I thought it would be very fitting to start my tier list here with Doki Doki Literature Club. And this is who you ship in the game. It's very interesting and fun. But yeah, I decided to do these tier list thingies now because I feel like I want to get a more of a deep connection with my audience, if that makes sense. Because I play video games, sure, but you never know who the person truly is when they play video games. Like, sometimes you have choices, but you usually pick the good ones, and then you pick the ones that make sense to you, and you can sort of get an impression of the person playing the video game. But at the same time, you don't really get the full picture of the person. And I try to show more of who I am and more of what I do and what I know, I guess, from these rankings. Yeah. But with that being said, let's actually get to the ranking. So like I said, this is Doki Doki Literature Club. And this is who you ship in the game. Now, if you watched my playthrough, which you most likely have not, considering it's the first video and it's awful and it's cringy and it's, I'm gonna say it again, awful. But my friends seem to like it because of how bad it is. You know that I always ship the main character with Monika. Now, why did I ship it with Monika? I'm not really into myself as a person. I'm not into very childlike people. I'm more into the mature person, the one who can own up to their mistakes. The ones who can go, hey, I did this, it's my responsibility, let's do it. She's the leader of the club, she's the one who technically takes charge, and she's the one who pretty much arranges everything in the club. And figures out who is in the best spot of, like, this person's good at that, this person's good at that. So I thought it would be very fitting to put her at, you know, to make that number one. Because I actually wanted to in the playthrough. I wanted to pick Monika. I really wish you could have, because that would have prevented the whole game. Now, I'm not going to spoil important parts of the game, just to make it more interesting, but at least that is why I pick the main character with Monika in number one. Now, I'm gonna start with all the main character person first, and then I'm gonna go with all the females getting shipped together. But the second one I go for is actually, can I find the main character? I don't think I can. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this one. The second one I wanted was actually Sayori. Now, why Sayori? She's kind. She takes action. Again, I'm not into childlike people. I'm more into the kind of person that is a bit more mature and interesting. Now, the reason why Sayori is not number one is because of how childish she is in regards to herself. Now, throughout all of Doki Doki Literature Club, she sort of just sits back and does... She likes to go in there without thinking, and she likes to just do things without thinking. That's the main reason why she's not number one for me. Of course, Monika and Sayori... Personally, if I could pick between the ones, then there would be Monika. But if it comes to only one of the three females you can actually pick, Sayori all the way. Because the other ones just aren't my kind of person. Now, the third one, which is, of course, Yuri. I'm going to put that at A as well. Simply because of one thing and one thing only. Sayori and Yuri are very close to I guess, to each other. They're pretty much complete opposites. Yuri herself is more of a closed-in person who prefers not talking to others. She's an inwards person. She likes to stay alone, read books, and live in her own fantasy world. And of course, she's thick. Like, that's why everyone picks her in the first place. I think she's the one with the biggest boobs. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that's probably why a lot of people pick her. She's the most mature looking one. I would not say she's the most mature in general. She sees the world more in a negative light, and sees her own world more as like her way of being, and that she's more closed in and more mysterious, and that attracts people. You know, you always get attracted to more mysterious people that aren't as open and, you know, things like that. It's very interesting once you get into a character. If it wasn't because of her enclosedness and her view of not really respecting other people because she thinks she's the most important one, I probably will get a lot of flack for this by people who really love Doki Doki Literature Club. But personally for me, Yuri is the kind of person who's a little bit selfish in how she acts and thinks she's better than everyone else. I can be selfish too myself. But I do respect other people and I do want to hear them out. But when it comes to Yuri and Natsuki here, they have certain situations where Yuri just doesn't respect Natsuki's love of manga, which I'm gonna get into later with Natsuki. And Yuri's more of the deep kind of person who prefers to read actual books. I say actual books. Mangas are books too, but they're not like actually big books that you have to read line by line. But yeah, so that's why Yuri is in A and right behind Sayori. Now on B, when it comes to Natsuki, is she here anywhere, by the way? Really? You can't even see the main character Natsuki. I guess this is it, right? Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna put her at B. When it comes to me shipping Natsuki with the main character, to me it doesn't make any sense unless you're really into the whole shy, but I like you, but I don't want to admit it kind of personality. I'm not gonna lie, there are people like that, and I'm just not one of them. And if you want to put that at the top, you can, of course. This is just my personal tier list of this. But specifically Natsuki herself, she's the kind of closed-in person that's not really allowed. Like, she does the opposite of what she probably should do in the situations where she wants to eat the main character to eat a cupcake. But she tries to make it seem like she doesn't care, you know? Like the typical, I want you to do this, but like whatever, you know? And she does actually have some moments in the game where she's like cute and nice, honestly. But she doesn't really become on a higher tier as the other two here. Like when you go with her story, it's more, you know, you help her out, she's cute, she's actually a very good person at heart, but she just has this whole thing that I hate about like tsundere people. And tsunderes are pretty much, I think tsunderes are this, okay? I'm not a big Japan guy, but tsunderes, as far as I understand, are people that like you, but they refuse to show it or say it in any way. But they more do it through their actions. And I just don't like those kind of people a lot. I prefer them to be straight with me. I prefer to be able to talk to them face to face and get an honest answer. And Natsuki is the kind of person you have to warm up to before she ever says anything good to you. So for me, that's just a big no-go. So that's why she's at B. But when you get to pick her things, you actually get good, get some cool images, and you get some interesting dialogue that really makes her character shine. That's why she's not a C or D. But she is a very interesting character. Like, she's not as far up there as Sayori and Yuri and Monika, in my opinion, but she is, of course, you know, alright cute. Plus, if I didn't put Monika up top, she might hack my PC, you know, so only Monika, you know. Now about the other people. When it comes to shipping people, part of me wants to ship Yuri and Natsuki. I might even go to B tier. Now, why do I want to ship these two? It's because they both love literature, like more than anyone else in the club, honestly. Like Natsuki loves manga, Yuri loves big books with big stories that have a dark twist in them and stuff. So if they just got together, had like a session, tried to learn each other's stuff, they might realize that they have more in common than they actually do. And that is really why I want to put those two together, because they're just more alike than the game actually shows. Of course, if you read between the lines, you will realize that they're very alike, and they both have similar views on things, but they just refuse to acknowledge it, which makes them close. They are close. They like to kid with each other, but sometimes they can get into too deep fights and not really understand what the other person really wants or is thinking. So that is a little bit out there, but oh well. Now, when it comes to the next little thing here, I actually have to say, I guess, Monika and Natsuki at C. Now, why would I put those at C? Because Natsuki is this sort of small, slim person, while Monika is this very old. Like, it seems weird, okay? But hear me out before you say that's weird, okay? Now, Monika herself is the kind of person, throughout the whole game, she, spoiler territory, skip ahead, like, let's say 20 seconds now if you don't want to know spoilers. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Monika kills everyone but Natsuki. And I don't really know why. She just kind of goes haywire. She doesn't really kill anyone. Or she doesn't actually get killed, but she just gets corrupted, I guess, or something like that. So I don't know if there's some kind of secret bond there or what it is. But Natsuki herself, she just seems to be a little bit less attacked by Monika. So I don't really. I think this might be something there, you know, out of all of them, where she could easily take care of the other characters without any problems. But when it comes to Natsuki, she just didn't actually make them go away, you know. So that's why I'm putting them there. Not because I think there's like a deep connection between them or anything, but because of the events in the game itself. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and put Yuri and Sayori. Reason why I get those two is again because of how... Actually, this time it's because of how opposite they are. Now, sometimes you also hear the sentence, opposites attract, and in this case, I do have to agree, because we have Sayori here, who is cheerful, hurts on the inside, which is actually something they both have in common. Hurts on the inside, always cheerful, wants what's best for everyone, wants to be treated the same way, but doesn't really get treated the same way. Wants to make everyone around her happy so she can be happy. Yuri is this kind of timid girl who sits alone, reads a book. She doesn't really care about other people, like to the same extent that Sayori does, because she doesn't need other people to be happy. She just needs herself and her world in books. And I think Yuri and Sayori could learn from each other and actually evolve from their relationship with each other if they, you know, get shipped and stuff. So personally, I believe they could easily become a couple and actually enjoy each other's company and just kind of get up there with everyone else. It's just an interesting concept to see two opposites being somewhat similar, but complete opposites in other aspects. Like it's very interesting. But yeah, it seems like Sayori is only there for the people in the club, and not really as much for the actual, you know, literature in the club itself. Next up, I'm gonna have to say Monika and Sayori. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Monika and Sayori. Now, when it comes to Monika and Sayori's relationship, they Monika pretty much despises Sayori. From the very get-go, it just seems like Monika doesn't care about Sayori and only like the fact that Sayori brought the main character to the club. She even goes as far as takes care of Sayori first out of all the females. And it's in such a brutal way, because she knew that she was the toughest competition in regards to knowing the main character, so she just took care of it as fast as possible, as soon as she felt like there was something there. She's also the first character you meet, so Monika is definitely not gonna like her. So for me, she's D tier. Their relationship is D tier because I don't believe they would ever work, like, at all. Next up, we got Monika and Yuri. They are gonna be C tier, but they're gonna be very close to being D tier. Monika and Yuri have the same kind of mindset when it comes to the club. They're there to do literature, they're there to learn, they're there to enjoy each other's company. Yuri a little less so, but Monika is just there to have a great time with these people and just have a great time in the club. It just generally seems like it's just how they both are. They both are very interested in literature. Otherwise, they wouldn't make a literature club. Monika wouldn't really be in there. Then again, it's also because the main character she would be in there, but that's another story. But yeah, when it comes to just Monika being with Yuri, I can see it sort of working out, but it would never really work. Because again, Monika has something similar with Yuri, but Yuri is a completely different kind of person than Monika. But at the same time, they have a few similarities there. I've already explained both characters, so I'll say that. But I don't think I've actually explored Monika more, but yeah. She's not stupid, she's smart, she thinks about what she says, and she knows what she's doing. Now, at last, we have Natsuki, or however you want to pronounce it, with Sayori. I'm gonna have to put them on D tier, but they're gonna be second to last D tier. They're gonna be the one that's closest to C. Now, Natsuki and Sayori are both completely weird characters in regards to each other. Now, they do seem to have an okay relationship in the game. But when it comes to Natsuki's carelessness, Sayori does see through it, but Natsuki never really acknowledges it, and she kind of just goes, oh yeah, sure, oh well. They also seem to have a closer bond. Actually, I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna put this up to, not up there, but probably here. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna put that right here. They seem to actually have an okay relationship first off in the game. They seem to talk to each other. Sayori knows a lot about Natsuki. She knew that she made cupcakes for the character, the main protagonist that you play as. And she seemed to really appreciate it, and Sayori knew that she wanted all that for you and that she actually started liking the character. To the point where she was about to confess to you before everything happened, too. So I think that's very, very interesting how that worked out. How both characters kind of fit each other. But I would never see them as like a couple. I would just see them as very good friends. Because couple-wise, I just don't see them fitting together at all. Which is why they're at C and I almost placed them at D. But I can see them working better than a lot of the other characters to the right of this one. Honestly, if I have to fix a little bit around here, I would have to put this one first, then this one, and then that one, and then this one. So yeah, here you have it. At S, we have main character and Monika, only Monika. At A, we have Sayori and the main character and Yuri and the main character. At B, we have Natsuki and the main character and Yuri and Natsuki. At C, we have Yuri and Sayori, followed by Natsuki and Sayori. Then we have Natsuki and Monika there, and then we have Yuri and Monika. And at the very last, we have Monika and Sayori. Now, it is important to note that I think Sayori is vice president or president of the literature club. I think she founded it with Sayori, but in the game itself, they have no real indication that they really like each other. So that's why I'm ranking it D. That does not mean they hate each other, because they don't at first in the game. They're just kind of there for each other. They never really interact that much. But yeah, that's pretty much what that is all about. Plus, Monika is technically the one you get to know the most in the whole game, so there's that. Now, like I said, this is gonna be a whole series of tier lists. I plan on doing more, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm probably gonna change the music, because this is very distracting for me. Maybe I should go with something, maybe piano music. That could probably be fitting better, but like I said, this is gonna be the first one, so space for mistakes, maybe? Forgive me, please? We'll see. But yeah, let me know if you guys disagree or agree, or where you would have put them in the description. Also, let me know if there are any tier lists you would like to see me make. You can go onto the tier list website yourself. Just write tier maker. It's the stuff that's on the left corner. There you can just, type it up and see what tier lists there are, preferably gaming, but you can also do fruit and vegetables or whatever I like. Like I said, I want to make this a personal series that I do, and I want to get closer to you, the audience, and get you to know me more as a person. Instead of me just doing playthroughs and you get to semi-know me through my actions and how I play. I feel like this is a little bit more personal. But this is still a gameplay channel. I just want something in the channel that makes you know me better, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this first part of my little series. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to show that you support it and want to see more, I guess. Yeah, hope to see you in the next series or in one of my playthroughs. And as always, stay awesome.